Hey guys, this is Jasmine from IAM, and today I'm excited to tell you about our project called My Warrior Sister and do our first interview with my warrior sister Emma. We created this space because it's important for people to know what it's like to be in prison, and it's important for me to be with my warrior sisters that are formerly incarcerated as myself. So Emma, can you tell the people what it was like to be in prison mentally and emotionally?
The first 6 months were probably the hardest emotionally and mentally, just to get used to kind of the fact that I'm in an environment that I have no choice of being in. There's no way out. There's no way that I can get away from it. And for me, I kind of lived in a constant state of anxiety and just worry, and any interaction there with anyone really stressed me out. And trying to stay out of trouble is really hard in there, with other women and COs. A big part of how I got through the first part while I was awaiting trial was kind of just sending myself somewhere else mentally with either coloring or reading. A big thing I did was nap, just so I didn't have to be awake and deal with that environment. It was really stressful knowing too that my family was also struggling, and there was nothing that I could do because I was also struggling and not physically with them. And it was just really hard for me to accept that this is physically where I am, and it took a while for me not to mentally want to remove myself every day. So I've been home for a year and a month now, and I do think about it every day in some way, shape or form. Some days it's not that much, I only think about it a little. Other days it's pretty consuming and hard to kind of function almost. It can be things like a song or a sound, or Facebook posts. Sometimes it's things I see online. I think the biggest triggers for me are hearing keys jingling, or small spaces. And the biggest thing that I've noticed since I've been home is if I'm going somewhere, I always want to be the person that's driving. I always want to know my plan of how can I leave if I want to leave. Because the second I'm somewhere and I feel I don't have any control over leaving or staying, it immediately brings me back to that feeling of being in prison and not having any control over leaving or staying or what I do or any of that. So for me, if I don't have control over a situation, it definitely causes a lot of anxiety still.
How can we end mass incarceration?
So I think it's important for everyone in the community to realize it's not just a problem for people who are incarcerated. It's not just a problem for their families. It affects the entire community in one way or another, whether people directly see it or not, and everyone's story matters. I think a big thing that's important is for the community to look at the root causes of why people are committing crimes. A lot of it has to do with equal access to education and employment and housing. And if you don't create those opportunities for people, or it's not equally distributed as an opportunity, people are going to turn to whatever means they can to survive. And by putting people in prison for that, you're just punishing them for not having the same opportunities that everyone else might have around them. So it's definitely something that the community as a whole needs to look at, how they can change the structure of all of the financial aspects basically and educational aspects to give everyone an even shot.